I made the fatal error once of running in front of him. I body swerved him in service. And bang, 2 plates dropped.
No!
So he's
Oh
right.
my
So
God. Hello and welcome to The Recipe, brought to you by Filippo Berio. I'm your host, Theo Randall, chef patron of Theo Randall Cucina Italiana. Today I'm joined by a man who traded the high-pressure kitchens of Marco Pierre White and Alistair Little for the live energy of Saturday morning TV.
went off to the Magic Kingdom with the kids. They were having a great time. I was queuing, hated it. Just out of the blue, I'm walking around Disneyland, phone goes, and they said, we'd love you to present.
He's the award-winning restaurateur and the face of Saturday Kitchen Live, who has spent his career making high-end cooking techniques accessible to everyone.
Big table of Chinese food.
Lazy Susan? Or would it just be for you?
Well, she can come if she likes. Where are we going with this?
Please welcome Matt Tebbutt. Matt, it's a real pleasure to have you on the show. This show is all about recipes that tell a story. Mm-hmm. What are you going to cook for us today?
So I'm going to cook a recipe that's very close to my heart. A seafood burrito.
Lovely.
Many, many years ago, as a kid, we used to go on caravanning holidays as a family, 4 of us and a dog in a caravan about twice the size of this table. And we used to go to northern France.
Yeah.
And I remember little kind of dimly lit bistros, check tablecloths, those old sort of the candles in the old wine bottle kind of affair, and eating the most amazing fish soup with rouille and croutons and gruyere. And it was kind of a dinner in a kit form. And I just fell in love with it. I fell in love with the taste of it, the excitement of it, the whole kind of experience of a great bistro. So this was one of the first dishes that made me fall in love with food. Fast forward to when I was working with Alistair Little.
The great Alistair Little.
The late great Alistair Little, sadly. He did this seafood burrito, which is very, very similar. It's thickened with this delicious spicy rouille, spicy mayonnaise. Lots of great seafood. So yeah, this is a real kind of nostalgic dish for me.
What was he like working for?
Alistair?
Yeah, because he was such a kind of he was so relaxed about food, and you could tell that when he cooked, it was like no frills. It was, and in that time, food was quite fancy.
Yeah.
And he was completely against that, which is refreshing.
It was. Do you know what? It was so refreshing. So I started working. So I went to Leiths and did a year there and learnt the basics, which was great. And then I went and did a couple of years with Marco at the Criterion.
Marco,
So I mean, we'll talk about that another time if you want. But that was good. But that was that was exactly what I wanted. But then going to work with Alistair was, like you said, it was relaxed. He was so bright, sort of self-taught, intelligent, sort of Cambridge grad, and he would do a lot of reading about the subject. And I remember chatting to Matthew Fort about Alistair once, and he said there was a time in London when nobody touched Alistair for Italian food, and he came at a time when, and I remember him telling me, London restaurants were 25 deep in starters, 25 mains, 25 poods. I mean, ridiculously big numbers. And he suddenly came up with menus that were handwritten, changed twice a day, 6 starters, 6 mains, 6 poods, take it or leave it. And people took it and they bought into it. And it was no frills, no fuss, just beautifully executed food, really, really tasty, authentic food. And I thought this was a brilliant way to cook. I mean, it's a tiring way to cook. The River Cafe, I remember doing a stage with you.
Yeah,
at the
I
River
remember
Cafe.
very well, yeah.
And I remember you did the same. You would cook enormous whole wild sea bass for lunch.
Yeah.
And if it didn't sell, it didn't sell. The staff got to eat
staff
it.
lunch.
Yeah. I mean, it was. I was
Best
like,
staff lunch
what
in London
is this?
ever. Yeah.
I mean, some places I used to work, and I won't mention any names, we used to get the chicken bones left over from the stock. So the bones were roasted, the stock was made, and then anything left was then put into a tray for stuff.
Outrageous! And then you gave them the potato peelings deep fried as well. Yeah, no,
I mean, it was just like, what is this?
Yeah.
But then you were so busy, you didn't have time to eat anyway.
Of course. But in the 90s, it was a sort of golden era for restaurants. I think. I mean, you think about all the restaurants that started then. All these restaurants they sort of set a kind of platform for young chefs at the time to grow, and they all had the similar philosophy.
I think what it was in the 90s, it was sexy, it was fun, it was exciting, it was dynamic.
Yeah.
Before that, and all that, I think I probably attribute to Marco and White Heat, because suddenly this book came out and it made
White Heat.
it made cooking look just like the best option ever.
Yeah, and restaurants were packed.
Yeah, they were. They were packed. They were exciting. I mean, that's one of the things I fell in love with. If you go and, I mean, still see it to this day. If you go and look at a restaurant in full swing, and you just sit back and watch, it's like going to the theatre. You know, the way the waiters glide effortlessly around the place. It's seamless kind of choreography. You got sometimes the madness of the kitchen, which as soon as those swing doors go open, you can hear a little bit of it, and then it shuts, and then it's all quiet again. Yeah. And I loved that. I fell in love with that sort of juxtaposition where it was all kind of guns blazing in the back, and at the front it was all kind of serene.
RAF, where does that all fit in? Because I know you're an ambassador for the RAF.
I am. So I always wanted to join the Air Force. I just wanted those childhood kind of things.
Yeah.
You know, I had grandparents in the Air Force, and I thought flying planes looked really cool. So that kind of just continued. So I went to university with the sole aim of getting a degree, and while I was there, I would join this kind of branch, which they call the University Air Squadron. And it took 50 young kind of cadets, wannabes, out of a couple of different universities, and taught them to fly.
Wow.
And so on your days off, I was very lucky enough to get in there, and on your days off, they taught you to fly. They threw you around the skies in this little aerobatic trainer.
Oh my God.
You got really drunk in the mess on a regular basis on taxpayers' money. It was subsidised beer. It taught you to get up and look smart in the morning, not look too shabby, hide it well. It's a great life skill. I've maintained ever since, I think you'll agree. And it was just the best club in the world. I mean, to the point where I banged on about it so much, my son went away to university and he joined. So he's in it now as well. So that was where I was going. But then when I was in uni, I had a girlfriend in London at the time. I used to go and see her. So this was like early 90s, 91, 92, 93. I used to go up and see her. I went into Soho, so no, it was changing. It was booming in restaurants. And that became more exciting. And that's when I fell in love with restaurants. And I remember one in particular was Anthony Worrell Thompson's De Lugo. It was so ahead of it. That guy was always ahead of his time.
Yeah.
So there were 3 floors, weren't there? It was a kind of a tapasy affair downstairs. Then there was a restaurant upstairs, and then there was a different menu on the floor above that. And it was just so exciting.
So he's a very clever guy. He had a restaurant called Ménage à Trois, which was way ahead of its time.
Yeah.
And all they served was starters. And
what, like small plates?
Small plates. But small plates before they became small plates. And it was one of Princess Diana's favourite places to go.
Was it?
Yeah, in Knightsbridge. I think we better start cooking because we're chatting too much.
Nah, I've got loads to talk about. What else? Right, let's sort this stock out. So stick it in here.
Yeah.
And then we'll thicken it.
Look at that. Look at the colour of that. My God.
Wow, okay, that's quite a lot. Right, okay, so we're going to infuse that. After I reckon about sort of 20 minutes or so, we'll strain it. We'll see what it tastes like, and then we might need to let it down. Right, in the meantime, I'm going to prep some fish. Do you want to make some roux?
Yep.
I remember eating this in these little French bistros, and it was just, you know, those dishes, I mean, you must have them, that you just come alive with. I was down in Rick's, down in Cornwall. Rick Signs,
yeah.
And we treated ourselves, and the kids had never been there. So we were kicking around on the beach. It was a bit of a miserable old day, so we thought, well, let's go and get fish and chips in Padstow. Anyway, we went to the fish and chip shop. Obviously it was packed, couldn't get in for love nor money.
Queues for miles.
So we thought, well, I'll tell you what, they've never been to the seafood restaurant, why don't we go there? So we went there, had a couple of bottles of Muscadet, and great fish soup with rouille, croutons and gruyere.
The classic
I was in
fish soup.
absolute heaven.
Yeah.
I mean, that to me is like just the best food. So what's the I mean, I'm interviewing you now. Is there one dish that sort of takes you back?
So I do love a fish stew, and I have to say that, you know, one of those, fish stew is one of those dishes that I love to make. And it was one dish when we opened the restaurant 20 years ago. Jay Rayner had it and said it was, you know, one of the best dishes he'd eaten. Yeah.
Okay.
We're lucky with that. So I'm a huge fan of a fish stew. I'm more of a kind of burrito, Ligurian style burrito, but it's very similar kind of idea. You've got this stock, you fry the fish off.
Yeah.
And it's kind of the best way because things like a bouillabaisse, you're cooking the fish whole and you're taking it off the bone at the table and serving this incredible broth. But I find the fish can be a bit overcooked. And it's quite nice doing it this way because then you get the sort of instant cooking and the fish is so nice and kind of juicy. So when you were working at Marco's, so which restaurant did you work at?
So I went to... Okay, so I left... Get this. We got time for this story.
We've got plenty of time. We'll make time.
So back in the day, there was no internet, right?
Yeah.
So if you wanted to know what was going on in a restaurant, you brought the Time Out Eating and Drinking Guide to London.
Yeah.
Okay. So I brought that, and I thought I always want to work for Marco. And he was,
why was that? Was it
because of the book, because of White Heat, because it made it look cool, and you know once you set your heart on it, something as a kid. I mean, I'm still like it now. Nothing's going to distract you.
Yeah.
You know? Nothing's going to distract. So I thought, oh, that's nice. That's really nice. So I thought, right, okay, I want to go and work there. So I phoned up the restaurant and I said, hi, my name's Matt. I'd love to come and do a stage. Just sort of, watch the chefs in action. I don't mind, obviously I don't want to be paid. I'm quite happy to...
Obviously, I don't want to be paid.
Well,
That's not a very good start.
So, that was what you did.
It's true. It's called a start.
I don't think you could do it anymore. But you knock on the back door and you went, yeah, well, I'll work for free.
Yeah.
I just want to see what's going on. I was chatting to this French waiter, and I was telling him what I wanted, and he was kind of nonchalant and being very French, I suppose. And then he was starting to annoy me, and I went, listen, I'm coming tomorrow, and so, I'll tell you, I'll see Mark and I'll tell him, what you told me. So when I turn up and he goes, who the hell are you? I've never heard of this story. Who shall I say I spoke to on the phone? He went, Marco Pierre White. So this guy at the end of the phone had been putting on this French accent.
That's hilarious.
Just for the fun of it. And I was, oh my God.
And he loved the fact that you were quite bullshit.
Yeah, I was. I was really like, I won't say it. But
what was his French accent like?
It was quite good. I thought it was French. Anyway, so that was the first thing. So I went into work the next day, I think it was. So I turned up, and there was a guy called Robert Reed there. So he was the head chef. Yeah. So he knew all about it. Yeah, come and work, and stuck you in a corner. I was actually put in the hot starters, or the starters with Tanaka.
My God.
Yeah, so he was working there at the time.
Yeah.
I believe William Curley was in there as well on the pastry.
Yeah.
So there was me and Jun. Jun was like really, really nice to me. And I just sat
Jun Tanaka's really nice, full stop.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
And I think one of my jobs was splitting French beans into 4 all day long. So cooked French beans, you imagine in half is enough, into 4, it's like, come on. No. So mind-numbingly dull all day long until about 11:30 at night when the phone goes in the kitchen. I'm watching service from the corner and the phone goes in the kitchen.
Ooh, that's
Robert picks it up and puts it down. He said, boss would like to see you upstairs. The bosses, I thought, okay. So I went upstairs, opened the knock on the door, opened it. So I'm going to see the headmaster. Opens the door, Marco sat behind the desk. Come in. And he's very, he's very grand.
Yeah, very grand.
Come in, have a seat.
Yeah.
So then we proceed to start chatting for about an hour and a half. And he's asking me all these questions. And I'm answering them, I think, very honestly. And he kind of, he'd ask me these very, very pointed questions, and I would answer them. He went, I suspect you've never told your parents that, have you? I went, no, I haven't. So anyway, so he's there, he's nursing this gin and tonic. He said, I'd like another drink. Would you like a drink? I went, yeah. I looked at his gin and tonic. I'll have a beer, please. He went, excellent. So picked up the phone. He said, Stefano, could you bring my friend a beer, please, and I'll have another iced water. So he's like, oh, done it again.
Yeah.
So that was my interview. So and then
you got the job.
So then I got the job, but then they were moving from the Hyde Park, the restaurant, to the Meridian Hotel.
Yeah.
Near Piccadilly. So I go there. I got sacked. It was a great job. It was also, I learned very quickly that is not the style of food I wanted to cook.
Yeah.
It was 3 Michelin stars. Why I ever thought that was a good idea to go in straight at the deep end as an absolute novice into a 3-star restaurant. Is
from splitting beans into quarters to, yeah.
And so, but he was very good. He was very nurturing. He was, if you're here to make fish soup, you'll learn to make the best fish soup.
Yeah.
And he was right. Anyway, I made the fatal error once of running in front of him. I body swerved him in service. Ooh. Bang! 2 plates dropped.
No!
So he's
oh
right.
My God, that is the worst thing you could possibly do.
So he's got his apron. Do you remember chefs? They get their aprons and they're holding plates like this. He's storming across the pass like that. And I went, and he just dropped them in front. I went, oh no. Started screaming at me. And I was like terrified. And anyway, so I went, okay, sorry about that. So I disappeared into the corner.
Back to your green beans.
Corner in the restaurant, back to the green beans. So then he's finished his service, blah, blah, blah. He calms down, he looks around, and I won't repeat what he said, but, you still here? He went, get out, blah, blah, blah. And I went, oh, okay, all right, oh. Anyway, so I went, and then I went home. Next day, I'm sat up looking at the timeout guide, thinking, where can I go and work?
Where next?
And I'm looking at Nicola Dennis. I'm looking at the Kaufman's place, because those were the other kind of options
they were
at the time.
Both 3-star restaurants.
I know. I hadn't learned, clearly.
You're insane.
And suddenly the phone goes. And this voice at the end goes, why are you there? I went, it was Marco. And he went, because you sacked me yesterday. Oh, don't worry about that. Come on.
Oh, lovely.
So I went back into work. He went, Matthew, come with me. So then walked me across, it was like traffic stopped in Piccadilly. And it was, those people, they just stop traffic. He was one of those. Yeah. So he stopped the traffic. We walked into the front doors of the Criterion, straight into the kitchen. It was almost lunch service, and introduced me to the chef at the time in there and said, you will be working here. And that was it. And I stayed there for 18 months.
Are you still talking to Marco?
Yeah, I saw him. I saw him at Mitch Tonks's Seahorse.
Okay,
not so long ago. We were going tuna fishing, and he was down there, and it was like I'd never left. Honestly, that guy is so captivating. I think he's something else.
He really is.
Full of stories, very entertaining.
Fox Hunter, do you miss it?
Yeah, no.
I mean, how do you feel? How do you feel about restaurants? I mean, you've gone from having, a very successful restaurant. You got that incredible review at the beginning, and that sort of set it all off, didn't it?
Yeah. So it was very sort of the time, I suppose. We set the place up in 1999.
Really? Gosh.
1999, and then in 2000, I think Diana Henry brought the gastropub cookbook out, and then she put us in it, and then that's kind of became our thing.
Yeah,
it was right at this start of the sort of the early gastropub sort of revolution, as they called it. But yeah, no, it was. You know what? Do I want a restaurant now? No, because it's so hard.
Because you were doing quite. I remember we used to do a program called Market Kitchen together, and you'd be like,
"That was great, wasn't it?" It was just up the road.
Yeah, it was fantastic in Kentish Town, and we were filming that, and then you would be like, "I've got to get back because I've got to do service."
Ugh.
And it was like,
Kill me.
And you were going back to Wales to do service. It wasn't like a sort of short trip.
So I set this place up. Really, really loved it. We lived upstairs. We opened in December. Jessie was born in the May, and then Henry came 13 months later or something like that. And it was good. It was hard. It was rewarding in equal measures. It was relentless, as those kind of little family businesses are. But ultimately, here I am. Chatting to you, having a lovely time.
Yeah.
And what I didn't realise at the time, I mean, these things are sort of stepping stones, really.
Of course.
And then we had a great review from Matthew Fort in The Guardian.
Which at the time, Matthew Fort was the restaurant critic.
Yeah.
I mean, he really was. Everyone feared, even though he's a lovely guy, he really knew what he was talking about. Well, he knew
his stuff,
yeah,
basically. So he gave us a really nice review in The Guardian. And we had a succession of good stuff. We won like AA Restaurant of
the Year, which is pretty major accolades.
Year one. I'm running out of room here, so
just chuck it all in.
We're just going to poach those.
We're going to slowly.
This is why I don't get stars. So we had some really nice reviews, and then Matthew Fort gave us a good one, and then something like 4 years later, he has to put names forwards for the regions for the Great British Menus.
Of course, because he was one of the presenters.
Yeah.
Well, he obviously, yeah.
He'd done year one.
Yeah.
With the year that Bryn Williams. So it's all full circle stuff.
That was the one where they cooked for the Queen.
That's right.
Yeah, and it was huge. I mean, it was it was one of the most watched television programs on BBC Two or so. Yeah.
So he had to put names for the regions. He put me forward for Wales. I thought, why not? Let's give it a go. I was up against Bryn. Obviously, TV loves that kind of nonsense jeopardy, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, two mates.
Yeah.
They're super competitive. I mean, we weren't. You know, Bryn's just a really bloody good cook and completely outcooked me. So we just kind of just had a laugh.
Yeah.
Basically. So that happened. The restaurant was busy. Then the restaurant dipped. Then it was Christmas. Okay, and we had a terrible Christmas, nothing but snow, nothing but cancellations. The money that comes in at Christmas is supposed to see you through to at least kind of spring, you know, and it wasn't there. And then come January, still snowing, more cancellations. And I was sort of head in hands, pretty much in tears, not knowing what to do. And I remember that it was the difference between something like $5,000 would keep you open as a business or not. And I didn't know what to do. And then out of the blue, a phone call from Optimum TV. Hi, Matt, this is so-and-so. We are making a new television show called Market Kitchen. Have you ever thought about presenting? I went, no, I haven't. And, you know, I know you didn't really know me, but I was used to be quite, weirdly, I was very shy. I wouldn't go out and see people in the restaurant. I was useless. You know, I didn't give a speech at my wedding. My wife had to stand up with me and stuff like that. So I was quite painfully shy. And the thought of being a presenter was like, would never be on the cards at all. But the fact that we didn't have any money and what the hell did I have to lose? I thought, well, yeah, why not? Let's give it a go. So we had booked a holiday to Disney the year before when we did have a bit of money. And we were going on the Saturday. We were flying on the Sunday when we shut. This was the Wednesday. And I said, well, I haven't got long. They said, well, can you come up to London tomorrow? I went, yeah, okay. So I went up to town to do a screen test with Diana Henry, weirdly. That was that. Went off to the Magic Kingdom with the kids. They were having a great time. I was queuing, hated it. And then just out of the blue, I'm walking around Disneyland, phone goes, and they said, we'd love you to present. Would you want to do it? And it was like you know, where those lights come over you in cartoons.
Amazing.
So it was quite something. Yeah. And then we did that for about, I don't know, 10 years, something like that.
Yeah, it went on.
Lovely Rachel Allen, Amanda Lamb. We had such a laugh. Yeah. That was a great show. Do you remember the mugs? Because we used to do 2.5 shows a day. Yeah. And we used to walk around with coffee mugs. Yeah. Where are they? I just use your prop. Yeah. And we've been like pretending it was first thing in the morning and it'd be full of red wine.
I tell you what, I remember one lady, and it was a teapot. They set it up and it was supposed to look like it was in Borough Market, wasn't it? It was supposed to be like a market sort of feel. That's right. And there was a lady there, and she'd been drinking. She'd been there for like 2 shows because they didn't have enough people in the second audience. So she'd been drinking the magic tea in her teacup.
Can I have some of your
and she had so much wine, and she turned around and she just fell off the chair, and she started cackling with laughter. It was brilliant. Yeah, if you think back of the people, the presenters, I mean, look, you know,
oh my God,
pretty mega.
Well,
pretty mega lineup.
We had Gwyneth Paltrow.
Yeah,
came on the show.
Yeah, she loved the show. I remember that. She couldn't believe that. Yeah, she was actually invited onto Market Kitchen, which was a UK TV show at the time.
So Gwyneth came in. She brought her own knives.
Yeah.
Big fan of the show.
Yeah.
And she had, and Chris Martin was outside in the car, waiting for her, like the dutiful husband. And she brought her own knives, and she had a global knife. And I looked at it, and I went, what's that say? And she said, oh, Chris brought me this because I get quite domineering in the kitchen. And I looked at it, and it said, fuck off, this is my kitchen. When I left the show, or when the show stopped, my leaving present was a knife. Said, fuck off, this was Market Kitchen.
Oh,
that's very good.
Yeah.
I like that.
So after that, then you went to Saturday Kitchen. Because you started doing that when James was presenting the show.
The first time I ever did it was to go on to promote Market Kitchen. And I remember upsetting the press department because the first question James asked me was, how did you find it? And I said, well, I found it, going from a kitchen, from, being just a jobbing chef in a kitchen to presenting, I found it a bit of a headache. Anyway, that didn't go down well with the PR department.
Yeah. This looks and smells amazing. I think we've got to go and eat it.
Right, come on
in. So your breed smells amazing. I can't wait to tuck in. Look at that.
Can we go?
Yeah, let's go. Yeah. Oh, that sauce is lovely. You got that you get the orange and you get the tarragon really nicely.
Mm.
And that.
I really like that.
Oh my God,
a little bit spicy.
Sea bass is so good.
Good, right?
Yeah, yeah. So what's it like doing live television? I mean, having someone shouting in your ear the whole time about ask this question, ask that question. You seem so calm.
Right.
On Saturday Kitchen, you're
proverbial swan.
Yeah, I think there are very few people can do that show, and you do it brilliantly. What's the trick? Just being relaxed, do you think?
Big mortgage. It's a great motivator. You just sort of, the more you practice, the better you are, and it's just about getting comfortable with the surroundings, with the people you're working with. Cheers. Nice to see you. I mean, we have the same crew week in, week out. I don't know how. I often hear about presenters, especially in American TV, who have no relationship with the people they work with. They come on, they're wheeled on at the last minute, they do their thing. They don't know. They work with these people for years, and they don't know who they are, what they do, what their interests are. They just do their job. And I don't know how you do that.
Yeah.
And so I think part and parcel of the job is to get to know the crew and to enjoy, going out for a few beers afterwards with them, having a laugh. I mean, it's great, when people like you come on, because we've known each other for years. Yeah. And it's comfortable. And then all you got to do is have a chat, and they look up, you read some lines off a box. Yeah. And then go back to having a chat.
Perfect.
And then somebody's in your ear. Sometimes they want to interrupt and ask you a question. Sometimes you choose not to ask it if there's something more interesting being said. Yeah. If you're struggling with a guest, then you pick up the question and you say them. Sometimes you need them, sometimes you don't.
Do you miss the culinary? I know we talked about the fox hunt and how you don't miss that life of running a restaurant. But do you ever kind of think, how do I keep my culinary appetite going? I mean, obviously cooking. The thing is, when you're on that show, you're cooking non-stop. You're cooking 2 to 3 recipes a show, so you're always cooking.
You do learn a lot off that show. I mean, you're right. If you don't cook in a professional setting, you lose your skills, you lose your speed quite quickly, I think. I mean, the amount of cooking I do on that show it's great, but then it's very different because you're cooking one dish and you're making one dish look really sexy. It's not like a restaurant where you've got to make 50 dishes look very sexy in a very short space of time. That's a very different skill, and you do lose that once you're out of that game. There's many aspects to the restaurant I do miss. I miss the camaraderie, I miss the service, I miss the cut and thrust of it. I don't miss the paperwork. Yeah. I don't miss the bills. Don't miss the stress.
Don't miss the snow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't miss the snow, that's for sure.
And you've got your own podcast now called Checkout Confessions. Tell us about that.
Okay. So Checkout Confessions is basically, it came from, when you're walking around the supermarket and you just judge other people.
Well, you look in their basket.
Just in life.
Yeah.
Just look at them.
Look at their basket.
No, you judge. You look at their basket, you look at their trolley.
But you do look at them as well. So, you look at what's in the basket, then you look at them.
I know, it goes hand in hand. So you look at that and you go, what's going on there? Yeah. What's that story?
What are they going to cook?
2 bottles of whiskey and a couple of ready meals for one. I want to know what that guy's thinking. So it comes from that. It also comes from my love of crab sticks that everyone seems to judge me on.
You love crab sticks?
I do like crab sticks, and
Well,
I don't care if you don't like them. So it's basically, what are you putting in your trolley? What's the story behind it? And it's just a jumping off point for conversations. I mean, I remember chatting to Faye Ripley about it, and she was so thrilled that she got asked to come on because she said, I've spent the last umpteen years pretending to put things in my basket just in case somebody stops me.
No way.
And judges
well,
me.
like really expensive olive oil.
Yeah, exactly.
If I'm doing something like, I go to the supermarket and I'll buy stuff for the restaurant. We run out of, chef, can you get some rockets? Chef, we run out of basil. Can you get some legs of lamb? It's like, for God's sake.
Legs of lamb?
Yeah, legs of lamb. Sometimes,
that's not a last minute we've run out.
But sometimes, the things are so unreliable these days. There's no delivery from our butcher. And it's a Saturday and they didn't get the order or something's gone wrong.
Right.
And I've got a lug from, let's go the Finchley Road, the shop I go to on the Finchley Road. I've got to get on the tube with like 6 legs of lamb. I mean, that's a lot of weight, and people look at me like, "What the hell?"
It's like meat raffle. Want it in a meat raffle?
Yeah, but then people ask you what you're doing. Ooh, he's having a barbecue. Ooh, who's coming? A lot of people there. So I know exactly what it's like.
That's when you need a hat.
Yeah,
your hat.
exactly.
You pull it down, and you just like, "Don't talk to me," hat.
Exactly.
Or a pair of earbuds.
Okay, so I've got a few quick fire questions.
Yeah. Okay.
And they're quite simple ones. Mm-hmm. What would your last meal on earth be?
It would have to be a big Chinese.
A big Chinese?
Big table of Chinese food.
Lazy Susan? Or would it just be for you?
Well, she can come if she likes. Where are we going with this?
Lazy Susan is a table that goes around within another table.
Yes, I know. You couldn't let that go. Yes, Lazy Susan. Although it's probably just going to be me there, isn't it?
Yeah.
So... No need.
Yeah. A lazy Matt.
Just have a long table of groaning with some of the greatest hits of Chinese menus.
So dim sum.
Dim sum. I go to this restaurant quite regularly and they do this wood ear fungus in black vinegar. What else? Crispy chili crab. Salt and chili spare ribs.
Yeah.
Double portion of those. Hot and sour soup. Squid.
Yeah. Chili squid.
Chili squid. What else? Aubergine hot pot. I mean, it's like
duck,
obviously.
Duck,
yeah. Controversially, I like the roast duck that's just cut up rather than the pancakes. Char siu pork.
Yeah. This is called a quick fire question.
Sorry. Go on.
Right, that sounds amazing. Yeah, I'm my mouth's watering.
Yeah.
Okay, and what's your guilty pleasure snack?
Well, it's crab sticks.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Although I don't feel any guilt about it at all.
What do you dip? Do you dip your crab sticks in anything?
Well, this is top tip from Mitch Tonks.
Yeah.
Fish connoisseur says he loves crab stick, bit of yuzu over it. Pretend you're in Rocker. Just a little bit of citrus yuzu.
Turn the lights down.
Exactly. Close your eyes.
Light a candle.
You could be in Rocker.
Amazing. And then finally.
Oh, can I tell you my other guilty
pleasure? Go on then.
Twiglets and mayonnaise.
Oh my God, yeah, because Marmite mayonnaise, yeah, that would work.
Yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Anyway, go on.
Yeah, okay,
Quick fire.
Okay, and you could cook only for one person, past or present. Who would it be, and what would be on the menu?
Oh, sentimentally, I would cook for my grandmother who taught me how to cook toad in the hole when I was a kid one Christmas, and it blew my mind. So going back, she was a gamekeeper's daughter, and she taught me how to gut fish, and just like little things like that. And I think that would be a lovely thing to do.
Yeah, nice.
And I cook a decent toad in the hole.
Toad in the hole? Yeah.
So, surprise.
Lovely.
I mean, be more of a surprise seeing her again, to be honest.
Matt, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on the show.
I've loved it.
Thank you for coming on.
What a great afternoon.
It's been really good fun.
Cheers. Lovely to see you.
Cheers. Thank you for listening to this episode of The Recipe with me, Theo Randall. You can find Matt's full recipe on the Filippo Berro website at filippoberro.co.uk/Theo. And be sure to catch him every weekend hosting Saturday Kitchen Live on BBC One. Don't forget to subscribe, follow and share the podcast wherever you listen. Until then, happy cooking.